Well, good afternoon from sunny Athens. We are currently exploring the Greek capital. We recently actually spent a few days traveling around Meteora, and now we are finishing up our trip here in Athens. We've got 2 full days to explore the city, which isn't a lot of time, but we're going to try to do our best. So let's get ready and start exploring.
Though our visit was brief, Audrey and I still made it our mission to see as many sights and attractions as possible around Athens. We set out to visit temples and ruins steeped in history, but along the way we also discovered that the Greek capital is a city with a pretty cool vibe, lots of art, and great food. This video guide will showcase 20 things to do in Athens, Greece. Our first stop was one of the most recognized sites in Athens, the Parthenon, which was dedicated to the goddess Athena, who was seen as the patron of Athens.
From there we visited the Erechtheion, which is an ancient Greek temple on the north side of the Acropolis that was dedicated to both Athena and Poseidon.
Quiet alternative after or before visiting the Acropolis is coming here to this park. Wandering around, there's all these really cool ruins and there's hardly anybody here. But aside from the ruins, one of the best things about climbing Philopappos hill was enjoying the views of the Acropolis in the distance, even if there was a whole lot of scaffolding on a few of the structures.
Beer o'clock. It's lunchtime here in Athens and we are starving, so we've been walking around all morning. So I found a little restaurant. We're going to be eating Greek food, obviously, and we're starting out with some homemade bread and black olives. Those are really good olives.
So we've now been in Greece long enough to know what some of our favorite foods are, and we're having 3 of them here. We're having Greek salad, which doesn't need too much of an introduction, Moussaka, and also Saganaki, which is a fried Greek cheese.
Yum! Now we're just waiting for our order. We are having something called Saganaki, which is a fried cheese, and it gets its name from the pan that it's fried in. Apparently it has 2 handles. And just have a look over here. It's a nice chunk of cheese. Now it's nice and golden from being fried. And it also comes with a little bit of lemon, which we can drizzle over top.
Oh yeah, so drizzle, drizzle, good. Drizzle.
And this can be made with 3 different types of cheese. You can have Bravura, halloumi, or sheep's milk, and it's very, very salty and very greasy because it's been fried. And it's probably not very healthy, but it's so good that we just keep ordering it with every meal here in Athens. And let's have another bite. That is really good, guys. And what are you having?
Now this next dish is one of my personal favorites. It's called Moussaka, and let's take a look down at it. So you can see that there's a layer of bechamel sauce. You also have minced meat, you have potatoes, and you have eggplant.
We've been told that if we want to catch the best sunset, we have to climb Mount Lycabettus here in Athens. So that's why I'm a little out of breath. We're climbing right now, and the sun is about to set, so we kind of need to hurry. Let's go. We took a taxi to the base of the hill and then hiked up from there. By the time we reached the top, golden hour had set in, casting a beautiful light over the city below. Since it was a kind of windy day, we found shelter at a little cafe at the top where we enjoyed a nice meal while the sun set.
After sunset, we lingered atop Mount Lycabettus for some night views of the city before taking the funicular down to the bottom. Seeing the Acropolis all lit up at night was a pretty cool sight.
Next up, we visited the Temple of Zeus, which once housed the statue of Zeus and was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
From there we continued towards Hadrian's Arch. It is believed this monumental gateway was built to celebrate the arrival of the Roman Emperor Hadrian in the city.
When it comes to shopping, there are a few different options. We made our way to Monastiraki, which is one of the principal shopping districts in Athens. Here we visited both the flea market and the antique shops in the area. The sun is starting to set and dinner time is quickly approaching. We've been walking around the Athens flea market and we've worked up an appetite, so right now we are stopping for some Greek food. We found a little joint that is serving up pita souvlaki and pita gyro, so we've ordered up one of each. Ta-da! Doesn't that look good? So yeah, ready for another taste test in Greece.
What's fascinating is that gyro means to turn. It's basically rotisserie meat that's cooked on a skewer, and you can have all kinds of different things. There's chicken, pork, lamb, so pick whatever you want, and it's stuffed inside of a pita. Oh, that's one of my favorite sandwiches I've had in a while. So good. Meat is really tender. I really like the sauce. And you've also, yeah, this is tzatziki sauce, and you've also got a lot of onions and tomatoes too, so really good stuff.
So for mine, I got the pita souvlaki, and souvlaki is basically meat on a skewer, so it's not shaved meat like Sam's, so I've got nice chunks in there. And also, it comes with french fries, onions, and tomatoes. And we can't forget the tzatziki sauce, which is made with yogurt, garlic, and cucumber. Delicious. So I'm gonna have another bite here.
We had a quality control bite earlier on.
So good, guys.
Syria is known for its lively nightlife, but what caught our attention when visiting by day was the street art. Some of the pieces were quite elaborate, while others were bordering vandalism, but regardless, it was a really interesting neighborhood to wander around.
Next up, we are checking out the Keramikos Cemetery here in Athens, and this place gets its name because it used to be the Potter's Quarter, and that's where the word ceramics comes from. And this is actually the largest and most ancient cemetery in the city, so we're just gonna have a walk around and see what we find. We also made time to go watch the changing of the guard in front of the Parliament building on Syntagma Square. The guards were dressed in their white kilts, red caps, and clogs with pom-poms. It was fascinating watching the ceremonial steps be carried out in slow motion.
The National Garden is located in the heart of Athens, directly behind the Greek Parliament building. It is open to the public from sunrise to sunset, and it's a nice spot to decompress if the crowds are starting to get to you. Visiting Agora Athens Central Market, which has a large fish and meat section, and it's busiest between 7 and 1 p.m.
And we're seeing lots of locals shopping around.
That's right.
This is mostly a fish and meat market, so we tried to spare you the gore. It takes a strong stomach to set foot inside, but as you can see, there are plenty of other items for sale.
The Agora was a central spot in ancient Greek city-states and is where people gathered. It was the heart of political, commercial, administrative, religious, and cultural activity in the city. Like the name suggests, the Acropolis Museum is located at the foot of the Acropolis, and it's mainly focused on the findings of the archaeological site of the Acropolis. It's a cool spot to visit if you want to delve deeper into history.
Plaka is an old historical neighborhood located on the eastern slopes of the Acropolis. The place is a bit of a maze with zigzagging streets and a network of staircases that lead up, down, and around. The neighborhood has plenty of charm, and there are also lots of restaurants and cafes if you do start feeling a little bit peckish. To visit Hadrian's library this afternoon, but unfortunately we got here a little bit too late and it's already closed for the day. However, I did do a little bit of research so I can give you a bit of background information on the place. So apparently this was built by the Roman Emperor Hadrian, and it used to be his library. So they used to store papyrus scrolls here, and they also had reading rooms and lecture halls.
Lastly, if you want to take some Greek recipes back home to your kitchen, consider taking a cooking class.
So we are wrapping up our time here in Athens. Any surprises or final thoughts to share?
Yeah, something that really surprised me were just the amount of stray animals that I saw on the streets, lots of cats and dogs. But like Istanbul in Turkey, they're well taken care of, and it was cool just interacting with them, going up to them and petting them and giving them food and things like that. That was awesome. I also thought there was really good dining options as well. We had a number of really good Greek meals and also some really good international food too. So final thoughts, I think this is a really underrated capital in Europe, a lot like Warsaw in Poland. So if you have an opportunity to visit Athens in Greece, definitely do so. So what did you think of Athens?
Well, I thought it was a really cool city, and I actually had a great time here. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Tel Aviv with the Mediterranean feel, but also Berlin because it's very artsy and gritty. So it's a really cool place to check out. Great food, lots of attractions. You have a mix of antiquity with urban. So it's really, really fun, and it's unlike any place I've been before, so I would highly recommend it.
And that's a wrap for Athens. We hope you enjoyed this city guide and that it'll come in handy when you plan your own trip. If you have any more suggestions of activities that travelers shouldn't miss, feel free to share those in the comments below.